Lars Porsena of Clusium, by the 9 gods he swore, that the great house of Tarquin should suffer wrong no more. By the 9 gods he swore it, and named a trysting day, and bade his messengers ride forth, east and west and south and north, to summon his array. East and west and south and north the messengers ride fast, and tower and town and cottage have heard the trumpet's blast. Shame on the false Etruscan who lingers in his home, when Porsena of Clusium is on the march for Rome. The horsemen and the footmen are pouring in amain, from many a stately market-place, from many a fruitful plain, from many a lonely hamlet, which hid by beast and pine, like an eagle's nest, hangs on the crest of purple Apennine. From lordly Volaterrae, where scowls the far-famed hold, piled by the hands of giants for godlike kings of old, from sea-girt Populonia, whose sentinels descry Sardinia's snowy mountain tops, fringing the southern sky, from the proud mart of Pisae, queen of the western waves, where ride Marsilia's triremes, heavy with fair-haired slaves, from where sweet Clanis wanders through corn and vines and flowers, from where Cortona lifts to heaven her diadem of towers. Tall are the oaks whose acorns drop in dark Orsa's rill. Fat are the stags that champ the boughs of the Ciminian hill. Beyond all streams Clitumnus is to the herdsman dear. Best of all pools the fowler loves the great Volsinian mere. But now no stroke of woodman is heard by Orsa's rill. No hunter tracks the stag's green path up the Ciminian hill. Unwatched along Clitumnus grazes the milk-white steer. Unharmed the waterfowl may dip in the Volsimian mere. The harvests of Aricium this year old men shall reap. This year young boys in umbro shall plunge the struggling sheep. And in the vats of Luna this year the must shall foam round the white feet of laughing girls whose sires have marched to Rome. There be 30 chosen prophets, the wisest of the land, who alway by Lars Porsena both morn and evening stand. Evening and morn the 30 have turned the verses o'er, traced from the right on linen white by mighty seers of yore. And with one voice the 30 have their glad answer given. Go forth, Lars Porsena, go forth, beloved of heaven. Go and return in glory to Clusium's royal dome, and hang round Nerskia's altars the golden shields of Rome. And now hath every city sent up her tale of men, the fort of 80,000, the horse of thousands 10. Before the gates of Sutrium is met the great array. A proud man was Lars Porsena upon that trysting day. All the Etruscan armies were ranged beneath his eye, and many a banished Roman and many a stout ally. And with a mighty following to join the muster came the Tusculan Mamilius, prince of the Latian name. But by the yellow Tiber was tumult and affright. From all the spacious Champaign to Rome men took their flight. A mile around the city the throng stopped up the ways. A fearful sight it was to see through 2 long nights and days. For aged folks on crutches, and women great with child, and mothers sobbing over babes that clung to them and smiled, and sick men borne in litters high on the necks of slaves, and troops of sunburned husbandmen with reaping hooks and staves, and droves of mules and asses laden with skins of wine, and endless flocks of goats and sheep, and endless herds of kine, and endless trains of wagons that creaked beneath the weight of corn sacks and of household goods choked every roaring gate. Now from the rock Tarpeian could the one burgher spy the line of blazing villages red in the midnight sky. The fathers of the city, they sat all night and day. For every hour some horseman come with tidings of dismay. To eastward and to westward have spread the Tuscan bands. Nor house, nor fence, nor dovecot in Crustumerium stands. The banner down to Ostia hath wasted all the plain. Astur hath stormed Janiculum, and the stout guards are slain. I wis in all the senate there was no heart so bold, but sore it ached and fast it beat when that ill news was told. Forthwith uprose the consul, uprose the fathers all. In haste they girded up their gowns and hied them to the wall. They held a council standing before the river gate. Short time was there, ye well may guess, for musing or debate. Out spake the consul roundly, the bridge must straight go down, for since Janiculum is lost, naught else can save the town. Just then a scout came flying, all wild with haste and fear. To arms, the consul, last Porsener is here. On the low hills to westward the consul fixed his eye, and saw the swarthy storm of dust rise fast along the sky. And nearer fast and nearer doth the red whirlwind come, and louder still and still more loud from underneath that rolling cloud is heard the trumpet's war note proud, the trampling and the hum. And plainly and more plainly now through the gloom appears, far to left and far to right, in broken gleams of dark blue light, the long array of helmets bright, the long array of spears. And plainly and more plainly above that glimmering line, now might ye see the banners of 12 fair cities shine. But the banner of proud Clusium was highest of them all, the terror of the Umbrian, the terror of the Gaul. And plainly and more plainly now might the burghers know, by port and vest, by horse and crest, each warlike look you mow. There Cilnius of Aretium on his fleet roan was seen, and Astur of the fourfold shield, girt with the brand none else may wield, Tolumnius with the belt of gold, and dark Verbenna from the hold by reedy Thrasymene. Fast by the royal standard, o'erlooking all the war, Lars Porsener of Clusium sat in his ivory car. By the right wheel rode Mamilius, prince of the Latian name, and by the left false Sextus that wrought the deed of shame. But when the face of Sextus was seen among the foes, a yell that rent the firmament from all the town arose. On the housetops was no woman but spat towards him and hissed, no child but screamed out curses and shook its little fist. But the consul's brow was sad, and the consul's speech was low, and darkly looked he at the wall, and darkly at the foe. Their van will be upon us before the bridge goes down, and if they once may win the bridge, what hope to save the town? Then out spake brave Horatius, the captain of the gate, To every man upon this earth death cometh soon or late. And how can man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers, and the temples of his gods, and for the tender mother who dandled him to rest, and for the wife who nurses his baby at his breast, and for the holy maidens who feed the eternal flame, to save them from false Sextus that wrought the deed of shame. Haul down the bridge, Sir Consul, with all the speed ye may. I, with 2 more to help me, will hold the foe in play. In yon straight path 1,000 may well be stopped by 3. Now who will stand on either hand and keep the bridge with me? Then out spake Spurius Lartius, a Ramnian proud was he. Lo, I will stand at thy right hand and keep the bridge with thee. And out spake strong Herminius, of Titian blood was he. I will abide on thy left side, and keep the bridge with thee. Horatius, quoth the consul, as thou sayest, so let it be. And straight against that great array forth went the dauntless 3. For Romans in Rome's quarrel spared neither land nor gold, nor son nor wife, nor limb nor life, in the brave days of old. Then none was for a party, then all were for the state. Then the great man helped the poor, and the poor man loved the great. Then lands were fairly portioned, then spoils were fairly sold. The Romans were like brothers in the brave days of old. Now Roman is to Roman more hateful than a foe, and the tribunes beard the high, and the fathers grind the low. As we wax hot in faction, in battle we wax cold, wherefore men fight not as they fought in the brave days of old. Now while the three were tightening their harness on their backs, the consul was the foremost man to take in hand an axe, and fathers mixed with commons seized hatchet, bard, crow, and smote among the planks above, and loosed the props below.